In this unit, I want to talk about model elements versus detail elements. There's often a misconception with Revit that everything in our design needs to be modelled in 3D. That is most certainly not the case. In a typical real-world project, you will model your design to a certain level of detail, and from there on in you will add 2D detail and annotations in order to produce your construction documents. So as an example, I've got a simple model here, single-story building with a pitched roof, a few doors and windows. I will just orbit quickly around that just to give you an idea of that model, and put the steering wheel away, switch to a floor plan. Again, you can see our main model elements, the walls, doors, the windows. Now I have produced a section through this building, and later on in the course I'll be showing you how to create all these different view types, but for now let's just switch to that section. Essentially this is just a camera looking side on into the 3D model, which has been cut through along that section line. So again, you can see the model elements as I hover over them. Now if I zoom in on, let's say, the eaves here, with the best will in the world, I think most people would agree that that is a very basic representation of what needs to happen here. That's certainly not acceptable to be built from. This just isn't exactly how these elements would come together. So we're going to be looking for brick and block coursing here, going to be looking for insulation, a wall plate I would suggest, fascia, soffits. Now we could technically model all those items in 3D, but I would suggest it's not the best use of your time. The model would get very large as a file, because it would contain all that 3D data, and I would suggest there is just no benefit or need to have all those detailed items modelled in 3D. We're generally not going to see them anywhere except for on section views like this. So that's where the 2D detail comes in. So later on in the course I'm going to show you exactly how to use all the 2D detail tools that you need for this, but in this unit I just want to convey the fundamental difference between the 3D model elements and the 2D detail items that we add and why we do so. So very quickly I'm going to add some 2D detail to this section view here. So if I go up to the annotate menu, we have a panel there called detail. So if I go to repeating detail component, just cancel that auto reminder, and 100mm block work, and we just put some on, and I switch to brickwork in section, and we add some on there. As I just said, don't worry at this stage about these tools that I'm using and how they work. I'm going to take you through all these in detail later on in the course towards the end, once we've got a robust 3D model. But it's just the principle I'm concerned with now of showing you that what you do is to take a fairly simple 3D model, take section views, call out views through that model, and then add the actual construction detail as 2D items over the top using the model as a template. We said earlier in the course that there is only one model in our project, so I just want to go over that concept again very quickly here. So on the left hand side I've got an elevation view of our project, of our building, and on the right is the section that we just created. And remember, we added some 2D detail to that. So again, if I take that roof, remember the properties and its parameters and values come up in the properties palette of any object that's selected, and one of the instance parameters for a roof is its slope. So let's change that down to 25 degrees, apply, and you can see that in both views the roof slope has changed. So it doesn't matter how many different views you have, if you can see that particular roof in all those views, every view will get updated accordingly. At the start of the unit, we saw how we could take a section view, and here's a section line through the plan. That created this section through our building, and we picked a specific area and we added a series of 2D details to that section view. Let me just go back to the plan view again. So there's the section line, and it was on this side through that wall that the detail was added. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to section and just create another section just a small distance along the wall from the previous one. Again, don't worry about creating these section views. I'm going to have a dedicated unit on how to create all these and how to adjust them, so that'll come a little bit later on in the course. But for now, just be aware I've created a separate section from the original one, a small distance along the wall. Switch to that new section view. Now I'm just going to up the detail level. Again, I'll be discussing this in detail later on. So there is our 3D elements as before. You'll notice that there is no 2D detail shown here, even though it's the same section of wall, the same roof, and a small distance along from where we took the last section. Switch back to the original section, and there it is with our detail. The reason why that detail is not on section 2 is because all detail and annotation items that we add are what we call view specific. They only exist in the views in which they are created. So we could go and add new detail items to this view if we wanted to detail up this section, or we could copy the details that we created here and copy and paste them into the second section. But that really is the purpose of this unit, is to show you the difference between model elements, which, as you can see, that roof there is that roof in the other section. You can see it's even shown selected from the first one. I'll do the same with the wall. Just cancel back out of that. So got the wall selected, switch to the other view, and the wall is selected because it's coming from that single model. However, any 2D elements that we add in a view only exist in that view in which we create them. We've got to copy and paste them over, or start again and create them from scratch in every view that we want to see them.
And that completes this unit. To get the most out of this training material, please take the complete course online at bimscape.com. Here you will find a complete learning management system that allows you to work through the course at your own pace. Comprehensive written tutorials provide additional information to that found in the training videos. Mark each unit as complete as you finish it and move on to the next. At any point you can return to any of the units you have previously completed to go over the material again. If you'd like to take this course online, please visit www.bimscape.com/Revit for details.